Hello. Let's resume our lecture on Aristotle when we were talking about the defects. So, these are some of the defects which were pointed out in the treatise, the Poetics. Now, the first assumption is that the handling of subject is disproportionate. It's not in a textbook style that you talk about things in an organized manner. So, this is the first charge that is being placed against Poetics. Then they say that the lyric poetry has been practically ignored. Perhaps it was thought to have constituted an elementary stage in the poetic development, and it was not a profound poetry. And it was perhaps, belonged to the area of music and not proper poetry. It was assimilated in the drama. So these are perhaps the assumptions that why Aristotle did not pay heed to lyric poetry. Then we talk about the descriptive poetry, the poetry of nature. It has also been ignored. Because Aristotle does not talk about nature at all. He's concerned about the plot, he's concerned about the characters, he's concerned about the attributes of characters, he's concerned about the various reactions that the audience would have, the catharsis, mimesis, and so many things. And there is a low treatment. He does not treat poor comedy and epic in a very high esteem. And they are, in a sense, subjugated as compared to tragedy, where he thinks tragedy is the heroic poetry. And there are a lot of, influences on his poetry or on his works and poetics. The contemporary influences. He is restricted to age. Obviously, when we write, you cannot write in a vacuum. You have the socio-cultural, political milieu in which a writer registers himself, his presence, his ideas, his notions. So, the charge that is brought against the Poetics is that it is confined to his contemporary viewpoint. And that is something which can be, annulled against any work of art for that matter. Then the style is telegraphic and highly in that age. The notion of writing was such, it was condensed writing, not very expanded. And then there is another objection as per the terminology that has been used, that is slightly archaic. And finally, they say that the Poetics is not self-explanatory and self-sufficient. And to interpret poetry, you have to refer to other works of contemporary Greek criticism. You have to refer to ethics, politics, and so many things. There are irregularities, anomalies, constant digressions, omissions, contradictions, etc. But all these things are, you see, when you are coming across a work which is about more than 2,000 years old, and it has come to us through generations, where at one time there was no written record, and most of the transmission was done orally. And these are some of the defects, if you call them at all, defects, are bound to enter the work. Then they say there's a certain signs of hesitation, uncertainty in the use of terminology. And they say that then these theories are not wholly the result of free and dispassionate reflections. His views are conditioned by the social, literary influences of the times. And it was, perhaps this is induced when we compare the other works. For instance, we talk about the rasa theory, when we talk about Abhinav Gupta. Those are experiential formulations of theory. Here it is something which doesn't seem to be experiential, it is something which is coming through his exhaustive readings of the contemporary works, his reflection on the existing literature, the Greek literature, the Greek drama. And finally, we would say, and because of the language, because the Greek language, the ordinary reader is not familiar with, and there is a sort of a translation that we come across. It's not the work is not originally written in English, so it is coming to us as a translation originally from the Greek language. And when you talk about the theory, we say that are these theories any more relevant when you talk about the Shakespearean stage, the Shakespearean drama? No doubt there is an adherence to what Aristotle preached, but at the same time there is a violation of many of his principles. And furthermore, when you we go beyond the Elizabethan drama, then for obvious reasons there is a disregard of these theories. Thank you.